Hello everyone. Here I am again. Now we're gonna do a short haircut. I'm gonna give you a demo of a short haircut. First I wanna show you the sectioning I did on my mannequin. And I'll show you on paper first. So you are gonna section the top area, going around the Pride Ridge into a horseshoe shape on the top. You're gonna section the sides. You're gonna separate the sides on each side, and you are gonna section out the nape area on the bottom. Let me show you how that looks on my mannequin. So starting on the Pride Ridge, I went all around into a horseshoe shape, and I simply just isolate the top, and then I went behind the ear and sectioned the sides. And then I went and I isolated the nape area about 2 inches, an inch and a half to 2 inches on the nape area. Here you go, so you could see. So this haircut's gonna be a short haircut. This is a very typical short haircut on women. Not that you can't do it on men, but it's very common for women, especially older women that like to have their hair short, to where it's just easy and manageable for them. So we're gonna start in the back. Just move this around. Okay, so I accidentally plugged my light. So let me plug my light again. There you go, I think that's better. Tap on the image, so maybe we got better lighting. Okay. So I'm gonna start on the nape area, and you do want to make sure that your hair is nice and wet evenly. We're gonna start with the nape area, and that's we're gonna start with what we call it scissor over comb on the back. So when you do scissor over comb, you might want to tilt your client forward a little bit, just a little bit, so that you have better access to the nape. You're gonna take your comb and elevate the hair. You're gonna comb the hair and bring it up to a nice elevation. So when we do scissor over comb, we comb first and then we cut over the comb. So that's why it's called scissor over comb. So what I want you to pay attention right now is the angle. Let me see if I can bring it closer. There you go, the angle. So what I want to do, I want to over direct the bottom layered of the hair, and I want to keep the top layer on the nape to a 90-degree elevation. So what that does is it'll cut shorter on the top, longer on the bottom. When we are trying to create what we call wispies, or little long pieces of hair on the nape area, that's how we create the wispies. But let me just do one cut, and I'm not gonna cut too short, just so that you could see what effect this does. So remember, whenever we are over directing the hair, it's gonna have a little bit longer effect versus a shorter effect over here. Now there's different ways of doing scissor over comb. So that's over directing the hairline to the top layer. If I was to do the opposite, and I would over direct the top to the bottom, then I would create shorter length on the bottom, longer on the top. So let me do my first cut so that you could have an idea of what that does. So over direction and then shorter here. And you just simply cut. You bring that, find your guide. Bring that out and then you find your guide. And when you dropped that hair, now is layered. You see that? In this case, we are gonna go a lot shorter than that. So again, we're gonna elevate the hair, and I want you, before you start cutting to the desired length, I want you to play with the length. Do a few cuts before you get to the desired length so that you could have an idea and experiment, and you could see how scissor over comb works. I'm gonna elevate. Now I'm gonna go way closer to the scalp just because it is for a shorter haircut. So this is a traveling guide. I create my guide, and then I start moving, and I move my body all around, and then from the middle, all around. So when I drop my section, I'm gonna end up with a taper finish. So the long pieces, these are gonna be your wispies. Obviously, I still need to texture, add some texture on those wispies so that they look like wispies. But if you look from profile, it tapers the hair in. So this is gonna go from short to long, okay? So I'm gonna cut my wispies a little bit shorter. So I'm just gonna elevate and cut a little bit more, because I do want them shorter. And you could go as short as you want on the back. You could also finish that up with your razor, trying to create like little triangles just to texture the very bottom of the hair so that you don't have a blunt finish, and it gives you that wispy finish. All right. So there's my first cut. Let's see. I've tapered the back, the nape area about 2 inches. So let me just draw it over here. So what we did in the back, move her out of the bed, is we over direct the hair from the hairline all the way up to the top section. So this hair was longer, this was shorter, and we cut with the scissor over comb on the nape area. This was about 2 inches tall. The next section, we're gonna work with that back section. I'm gonna drop the entire section. Gonna make sure I have the hair nice and wet. And I'm gonna work on a vertical section. And so now what I'm going to do, so these are gonna be my vertical sections here. So vertical sections here. in this area. And I'm gonna bring the hair out to a 45-degree elevation. So the hair, or the 45-degree elevation and 45-degree angle, to create volume on the back part. But my bottom, or the top of my previous section, is gonna be my guide. So let me show you what it looks like. So I'm just gonna take a small section and see that little piece? That's gonna be my guide, but I'm gonna over direct, or I'm gonna elevate, I'm sorry, not over direct, but I'm gonna elevate the hair to a 45-degree elevation. And that's gonna, this right here is gonna be my guide. So 45-degree elevation and 45-degree angle. And I'm gonna cut to that guide. And this is gonna create some volume for me. Let me take another piece. I'm gonna bring it out. Gotta find where my guide on the bottom is. Move my finger to a 45-degree angle and cut to the guide. I'll keep it at 45. So now we're longer. So from long to short, we are creating this effect. From what we taper on the nape to the crown area. And we're gonna start creating some volume. Let me see, some volume. Let's see. So this is gonna be a traveling guide. You start here and you're gonna move your way all the way to the one side, and then from the middle to the opposite side. So it is a traveling guide. So you are gonna have to move your body or move your client. Find your guide again and cut on an angle. So you're still cutting and bringing that angle. It's a traveling guide, so you are gonna move your mannequin or yourself. Always try to find your guide and know where to cut to. If the section is too big, cut the bottom first and then the top. Here you go. So now I've cut that. See how it tapers in? It creates volume here and it tapers it in all the way to the shortest part. So I've cut the one side. Now I'm gonna go back to the center and then move my way over to the other side. Again, it is a traveling guide. Make sure that you are on a comfortable position when you're cutting. So if you need to move your mannequin or your client till you find a comfortable position for yourself, then go ahead and do so. Take a small section and go section per section at a time. Don't try to take thick sections, because you're only gonna start gaining length and you're gonna end up longer on one side than it is on the other. So I have the guide from that I created at the beginning, and I'm gonna direct that guide to my subsection. And it is a traveling guide, remember? Try not to take thick sections because you're only gonna get longer on one side. If you see a long hair like this one here, just go ahead and find and make that correction. Okay, keep turning your client. You're gonna cut until you blend that in. Now I just need a little piece. Okay. Let me see, I feel like I gained a little bit of length here, so I'm gonna go back and find where I started gaining length. Okay, so there you go. Here's the taper, the scissor over comb on the nape area, blending it in with the back on a 45-degree elevation and 45-degree angle to create length. So longer to short, just like how it is here, long to short. When you drop that, you will see the volume. So if I was to bring all the hair out, you would see this, that it's a 45-degree angle. Okay, so next we're gonna work with the sides. Get my mannequin adjusted. Okay. So on the sides, you're gonna drop the one side. Make sure the hair is nice and wet. And we're just gonna continue using this as your guide. The part in the back as your guide. So it is a 45-degree angle. So you're gonna keep that 45, 45. If you notice that now I've changed my hand position going over, you could try and do under to whatever it's easier for you. It's just more comfortable for me to do it over. So I'm gonna take one small section, find my guide. See, there's my guide. And then cut to a 45 degrees. 45-degree angle and 45-degree elevation. Gonna turn her around. And now we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay. So move around your client or your mannequin until you find where it's comfortable and where you have the better view. So I'm gonna bring the hair up so that you can see. Okay, you might not be able to see this. So I'm gonna bring the hair up and continue that 45 degree. So section, vertical sections. Find your guide in the back. Remember, your guide is the one that travels. So now we have both sides. Just crooked. Like for some reason. There you go. It's just kind of straight right there. Okay. So now she's cut on the back and the sides. Now this, as far as the ear area, it's just a matter of preference. At this point, I would ask my client if they like their ears to be covered or completely uncovered. If the client wants the ear completely uncovered, then you're probably gonna have to go a little bit shorter than that, or go around the ear and fully uncover the ear. In this case, I'm gonna leave the ear covered. So at this point, I'm gonna drop the top of the head. Let me just do the drawing here for the sides. So the sides here, we kept them at a 45. Degree finger angle and 45 degree elevation. Now we're gonna move to the top, which is the crown and the top area. That whole section that was on the horseshoe shape, and I'm gonna start cutting and sectioning on a horizontal section on the top of the head. So that would be my horizontal section on the top of the head. I'm gonna drop the hair. And now on the back section, so now I'm here. I did one horizontal section, and now I'm gonna do a pivot sectioning. So starting from that point, using vertical sections, so that it kind of creates a fan effect. So starting from this point here, and I'll do my first section here. Let me get my orange comb so that you can see it better. So I start here, and then here, and then here, and then here, so that it creates a fan effect, okay? And I'm gonna elevate the hair. Now I'm just gonna continue that 45 degree angle. See my previous section? I'm just gonna continue that to continue creating length. So starting from here, moving your way around to do a fan effect. It's a traveling guide, so move your mannequin or move yourselves. so I created just a little bit more length. My next section is going to be a horizontal section on the top of the head. Another horizontal section on the top of the head. So here, so there, and I'm gonna start moving that section, elevating it and elevating the hair into a 90-degree elevation. So that was what I had over directed to the back to a 45-degree. Now I'm gonna bring it up and I'm gonna start creating my 90-degree from the head shape until I get to the top, and I cut this section. Until this section right here, it's completely at a 90-degree elevation. So again, the next section, gonna continue that 45, and I'm gonna comb my hair until I get to a 90-degree elevation from the head. And you cut little by little. Okay, now we're gonna move forward and just elevate the hair to a 90-degree elevation. Using that as your guide. So there's my guide. So now my guide is gonna go over to my subsection, and I'm gonna cut at a 90. And all the way to the front. So make sure that you bring all the hair up and cut to a 90-degree elevation. So here, let me give you the drawing. You're gonna direct the hair to a 90-degree elevation. And then what you're gonna do here to blend it in, you're gonna do 90 around the head shape to connect this 90-degree elevation to the 45, so that you follow the head shape. Because if you don't connect the 90 to your 45, you're gonna have long pieces. Let's see. You're gonna have long pieces like this. So here's the end of your 45, here's your 90. You're gonna have to go around and connect your 45 to your 90. So now you're gonna go from the parietal ridge Go all the way around just to check your haircut. Make sure that you blend that in. Get the hair wet a little bit. So I'm gonna start on the back. Just elevating the hair, making sure that I don't have long pieces. And on the back, since I had already cut, I'm not gonna have any, but as I move my way to the front, I'm gonna find those triangle sections. And I'm just simply gonna cut so that I could connect my 45 to my 90. Working on with vertical sections. Following the head shape all around the parietal ridge. Again, start on the back, and then this is a traveling guide, so you're gonna have to move around the parietal ridge and go section by section, elevate the hair to find those long pieces, that this connection in between your 45 and your 90 degree elevation. Okay. Here you go. So she already had some bangs, so I don't have to cut the bangs. Now in this case, if your client wants to have bangs, you would cut the bangs. You will direct the hair forward and give her bangs. She had some bangs already, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. Maybe you could actually give her, let's give her some short bangs. Let's do something fun. Let me give her a gothic-y bang. Just to do something fun. So with students with this haircut, I'm gonna need to see, look how cute that is. So taper on the back, volume on the crown area. So once you're finished blow drying, you're gonna really like this haircut. And you could tuck this behind the ear, or you could cut around the ear to make it shorter. You could also use the same technique that we use on the nape. You could use it on the sides to do more of a taper finish around the ears. So anyways, as I was saying, for this haircut, I am gonna require 4 pictures. The first picture is gonna be of your setup, proper setup. Your SMA, your scissors, your clips, your hair clips, your scissors, your hair clips, your water bottle, anything that you need for this haircut, and the proper cape for this haircut. So a hair cutting cape. You might not have a Sanex. If you have a Sanex, just display it on the picture. And you could have your procedures next to you. That's fine. And that's going to be your first picture. Second picture is going to be a picture of your mannequin before the haircut. Third picture with a mannequin and the finished haircut on wet style, just like this. And then fourth picture is going to be a picture of the same haircut, but after you're finished your blow dry or thermal styling, whatever you choose to do with that. So please upload your pictures on my Google Classroom so that I can give you practical points. Okay, so that's it for this short haircut. Stay safe. See you on the next haircut.